Alright, so we finally have gotten more information on Pokemon Gen 8. It's going to be called Pokemon Sword and Shield. We're going to be in the Galar region. All that sort of jazz. It looks pretty fun as a game, I'm not going to lie. But it doesn't look up to snuff, if you know what I mean. It looks it looks like a 3DS title up-resed onto an HD resolution. I don't understand how they did this. I'm not asking for much. I'm a Nintendo fan. I think we as Nintendo fans all can agree we're not graphics harps. We don't really care that much about resolution. We don't care that much about frame rates. The thing we care about is fun games, and Pokemon Sword and Shield looks like a fun game, I'm not gonna lie. And that's what really matters at the end of the day, is that it's a fun game. But the problem is it doesn't look like it's an actual jump in quality, graphically, or mechanically. It looks like a 3DS handheld title, just up-resed. The Game Freak has recently announced that they're getting rid of the national decks, which I'm not a huge Pokemon fan, so this doesn't affect me at all because I've only played like one Pokemon game in my life, and that was Gen 1 and the GBA remake that they did. But I could see how for some other people who played X and Y and Ruby Sapphire and all that stuff on the 3DS and wanted to transfer their Pokemon from the Pokemon Bank to Sword and Shield. Game Freak's essential reasoning for why they aren't porting over these Pokemon is because with the power of the Switch, they claim that it allows them to put more detail into the Pokemon. But the problem is, I'm not seeing that new detail. I'm not seeing that graphical leap. I'm not seeing that. This looks like a 3DS title. I know I've said that like 3 times now, but that is the worst excuse I think I've ever heard. Because of the graphical leap and quality because of Nintendo's handheld. That was their excuse. That because of the varying animations and graphical fidelity they put into the game, that means we're not going to get other Pokemon because there's obviously too much that the Switch can't handle. But that's complete bullshit. That is utter bull. You dumb cat. Oh my god. I'm going to be honest. The animations look bad. They look stagnant. They look awful. They don't look like a next gen title, especially a console title. I'm not going to lie here. I'm being dead serious. I think Pokemon Stadium on the N64 had way more varying animations, way better animations, and overall just looked way better comparatively. This is just laziness to the extreme. I don't like this at all. Pokemon Stadium on the N64 looked way better. Now you could just tell me, oh, stop ruining my shot! But you could just tell me, oh, but James, the game's open world. They obviously have a bigger, vaster open world, so they can't all be amazing. And Pokemon Stadium was built focused mainly on battles and arenas and all that kind of stuff. So they didn't have to think too hard about it. Listen, that is a horrible excuse. A terrible one. When we have The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on this platform. That is a terrible excuse. When we have Skyrim, we have soon The Witcher 3. These are terrible excuses that I will not allow people to make. That is an awful excuse. Just because it's an open world-esque game means that all of a sudden they can't put all that animation into one game? No, that's just laziness. That is a bullshit excuse. And it's not a fair one either. When we have these wonderful open world games coming to the platform and are already on the platform, and they are proven to run just fine and look beautiful. That is my problem with that point. That makes no sense to me. Breath of the Wild looks beautiful. Skyrim, it's a last gen game, granted, but it still looks pretty damn good, and all the stuff looks pretty varying. And Witcher 3, from what we've seen, it looks pretty damn good as well. I'm just saying an open world does not excuse Game Freak's attempts at laziness and poor animation and porting over animations from the 3DS titles. That doesn't excuse that. I mean, overall, I gotta say, man, the game looks fun. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a Pokemon fan. I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan. From what I've played, I enjoyed whatever the hell I played for the 23 hours on my GBA. But I'm not a huge Pokemon fan. I really wanted this game to have a huge graphical leap. This is why I skipped out on Let's Go. I didn't want to just play a casual, streamlined, easy Pokemon RPG all the time. And you could just say, well, it's still a fun game. And yes, it is a fun game. I'm sure it is a fun game. But I don't want to play that. It doesn't seem that fun to me. An easier experience doesn't seem too enticing to me. I want some form of a challenge. Not everything has to be Dark Souls levels of hard, but at least have some sort of form of challenge midway through the game. Apparently, in Let's Go, everything was easier, simplified, and forced in motion controls. I heard the controls were awful for that. Alright, I'm just being honest. I wanted that for Gen 8. And you know what? It seems like they're going to deliver on that. A more core experience where you have to actually think sometimes in your battles, and not everything's more streamlined. That's what they seem like they're doing, and that's definitely enticing to me to go play their game. But this laziness with the animations, the graphical fidelity, the world, the poppin', there's poppin'. In this wasteland of a world that doesn't look good at all. These models look from a 3DS title for the last time. How many times can I say it until you fucking want to kill yourself? Jesus Christ, I am so sorry. And I know the game's still gonna sell just fine. I know people are still gonna go out and enjoy this game and not even think twice about the graphic fidelity or the animations. But for me, I'm gonna somewhat think about it. I'm gonna somewhat worry about it. I'm gonna somewhat care about it. Again, we're Nintendo fans. We don't care about graphical fidelity. If we did, the Doom port wouldn't have sold well on Switch. Wolfenstein 2 wouldn't have done well on Switch. Doom Eternal wouldn't be coming. Wolfenstein Youngblood wouldn't be coming. These games wouldn't be on this platform if we cared that much about fucking graphics. We don't. We just expect a lot more out of companies like Game Freak. We expect a lot more out of companies to actually make an industry standard and put in new animations for next-gen titles on next-gen hardware. On stronger hardware. 3DS, you can make an excuse. Fine. Weaker hardware. Had not that much to work with. Switch, vastly superior in every way to the 3DS. There's no excuse for this game to look as simplified and dumbed down as it does. We as Nintendo fans and as Pokemon fans should not just accept everything that comes from this company. We need to have some form of a backlash, some form of a backspeak, something, anything. We need to stand up and tell Game Freak that we're not going to stand for laziness. We expect something out of a famous company, a big company for that matter. We expect a lot more. And you should expect a lot more. Not this minimal